if you're going to be successful in establishing a meditation practice, it's essential that you have an understanding that supports your motivation. It's essential. Without that, if someone just comes to this class one time and they don't get ignited, you know what I mean by that? They don't get ignited, you know, like one of the metaphors about the truth in the teaching is that it gets passed from one person to another like my flame lights your flame. You get ignited. And if you don't get ignited, if that doesn't happen, then the mental state will still be operating your life. And so even though you come to the class and you might even find it interesting, you might even say to yourself, oh, this is something that I want to take seriously. You know, I kind of get a sense of the value of this. I want to start to practice meditation. But unless you're sufficiently ignited, once you leave the class and the mental state continues to operate you and the emotions continue to operate you, when it comes time to practice meditation, what the thoughts you had at the class and the way that you saw it at the class will be irrelevant. The mental state will kick in, and the mental state is interested in being comfortable. It's interested in familiarity, doing what you already know. It's interested in doing the things that occur to you that will give you immediate payoff. That's the mental state. So no matter what you thought at the time, as time passes, the mental state and the emotional state will run the show, and you will not establish a meditation practice. It's mathematical. It's axiomatic, you know, that's what will happen. In the same way, when people get married, you know, I don't have any doubt, unless they're really psychotic, well, they probably are, but I don't have any doubt when people get married that they intend to be married. They intend to stay married, you know. They intend to have this work. And they get in front of the justice of the peace or the rabbi or the priest or whatever, and they take these vows. I will stay with this person for the rest of my life, no matter what. Whether they're sick, whether they go crazy, no matter what. I won't abandon the project for the rest of my life. Marriage is a good way to look at the way the mind works, because no matter what the vows are, even in the ceremony itself, if you look at what the ceremony has come down to, for most people the ceremony is what you go through to get to the party. The ceremony itself is like, they're just, you know, that's what you do, that's all. But the marriage is really the reception. And the honeymoon, that's the marriage, because I want to have fun, you know. This serious stuff, yeah, you know, we'll go along with it and everything. But the proof is in the pudding, because what happens more than 50% of the time, no matter what the person vowed, no matter what they thought in front of the teacher, the rabbi, or whatever it is, they can't do it over time. They can't do it because the mind is unstable and the emotions are unstable. So I said I would stay the rest of my life, but as soon as I get into a state of frustration or anger, and I start having negative thoughts about this person that I married, the vows go out the window, you know? They go out the window in the sense that when that happens, the person doesn't even care about the vows. What they care about is being free from the tyranny of the other person. Right? And a marriage is a good example of the failure of the mental state and the failure of the emotional state, because even the people that don't get a divorce, right, are divorced. Even the people that don't get a divorce are divorced, because once the shit hits the fan, what they do is they come up with some strategy to tolerate the situation, right? Come up with some strategy to cope with living with the other person. And when that happens, the the lust and the passion, the love and the romance starts to die down very quickly. So it's a perfect example of the inability that people have to follow through and maintain their commitments when they're challenged. Because the mental state is an unstable state, and the emotional state is an unstable state. So you can't use it. You can't use it to accomplish anything because it won't support you. It won't stay the same. It'll change. That's why when my teacher was saying that a friend of his said to him, that he had met 2 women and he was in love with both these women and he had been spending time with both these women, and he decided to settle down and get married, and so he wanted to choose one of the 2 women to marry. And he asked my teacher, for his advice, what do you think? Can you help me make this choice? It's a big choice. I don't want to make a mistake. And the teacher said to him, no matter what you choose, it'll be wrong. And that's an important thing to understand. He was pointing to what I just got done saying. No matter what you choose, it'll be wrong. Because no matter what you choose, as soon as you're with the person you chose to marry, and as soon as there's conflict, you'll say, I made a mistake. And that's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. So if you're living your life by using thinking and you're referring to how you feel in order to be successful and accomplish anything and maintain a commitment to anything for any length of time, you must fail. Because the system that you are cannot do that. It can't do that. It is always responding to what's happening in relationship to what it wants, how it feels, whether it fits its ideas and pictures. And so it's a constantly changing reality. What you think today is not what you thought last week. It's not what you thought last month. Certainly not what you thought 10 years ago. So then what? If it is the case that thinking disempowers people, thinking and emotions disempower people. They don't empower, they disempower people. So then what to do? Well, that brings us to what we're doing as far as meditation is concerned. Because in meditation, what we're doing is we're developing a practice that will allow us to begin to experience an alternative to living your life as a thought process. To begin to experience an alternative to living your life as an emotional experience. To start to live your life as an experience of existence. And the existence that you're experiencing is a fulfilled experience. The existence that you're experiencing is only occurring in the moment, and the existence that you're experiencing is free. It is able, the more you practice meditation, the stronger your ability to produce the results that you want in your life is. The longer you practice meditation, the stronger your ability to produce what you want in your life is. Because what you want in your life is an experience, not a new car. What you want in your life is an experience, not a beautiful person to, marry, or those things occur to people to be what will give you the experience that you want. But what you want is an experience. I used to tell the guys in prison when I worked in prison, you're here in prison because you wanted an experience, and you thought to have that experience you had to have more money. So you did whatever you needed to do to get the more money to have the experience, right? You made a big mistake, and this is how it ended up for you. And so what I did is I educated them, and I helped them to learn how to experience what they wanted more than anything without doing anything, without getting any money. By practicing meditation and sitting still and being silent, you can discover that what you want more than anything else as an experience is always here for you. The truth is waiting for you to pay attention to it. Reality is waiting for you to get involved with it. And so through meditation, you can come out of the automatic, mechanical thought process and feeling states that have been determining you in your life, and start to experience the possibility of freedom, happiness, satisfaction, and peace. That's what's available. but only if you can establish a practice. That's the challenge. Only if you can establish a practice, because we now know that the brain is a learning organism. It's learning right now. It's learning all the time. It's readjusting its understanding of what reality is. It's readjusting its understanding about who you are based on the experiences that you're having, and the brain is using those experiences to continue to reshape itself accordingly. This is good because it means through meditation you're hacking the brain. You're hacking your nervous system. You can hack your brain in such a way where your brain will learn about the truth. Your brain will learn who you really are, and when it learns who you really are and it learns about the truth, your behavior will be consistent with that. Therefore, you won't continue to repeat the same mistakes. You'll learn about how to be with other people in a way that works. Why? Because you're practicing through meditation to stop trying to get happy through relationships and money and possessions, right? You're learning that that's a mistaken way of perceiving things. And as you experience that to be the case, the brain's making adjustments about that, so you'll be less inclined to feel that you must buy that new car no matter how much it puts you in debt. You'll start realizing that, the new car is transportation, not happiness. Right? And when you realize that, you can save a lot of money. You don't have to keep buying things to be happy. You can be happy. And once you're happy and you look from happy eyes, once you're satisfied and you're looking from a satisfied place, once you're peaceful and you're looking from a peaceful place, the world occurs to you very differently. People aren't a threat anymore. You don't feel driven to keep getting more and more possessions and more money. You can relax and start to enjoy your life and realize that if you have the essential things that you need, shelter, food, you have those things, you're good to go. You're good to go. The rest of it is unnecessary. It's just unnecessary for being happy. Nothing wrong with it. I don't have anything against wealthy. I don't have anything against that, right? But if you have a lot of money and that money is the source of or you think that money is the source of your happiness, the money is evil. It becomes evil. But if you're already happy, satisfied, and peaceful and you have money, then you can realistically use it to enjoy life and to have life be functional and workable. And if you're awake and you have money, one of the primary things that just occurs to you to do is to look to see how to use it to make a difference instead of just use it to feel like you're in control and you're happy, which doesn't work. You're not experiencing being in control and being happy. And that's why people who have money are desperately seeking more of it, because once you have it and it doesn't make a difference, you feel, well, it's probably because I don't have enough yet. That'll take you to hell forever. Yes, it is. Mindfulness is meditation, because it's a tricky word, right? Because one of the things we say in the teachings is that to identify with your mind is a big mistake, and it's going to cause a lot of suffering. So then you might say, well, then why would I be mindful, right? What they mean by that is to be awake. To be mindful means to be awake, right? And to practice mindfulness means that you're practicing being awake. Why? Because you've been asleep in your life. You haven't seen things as they actually are. You haven't seen relationship for what it is. You've misinterpreted to mean a source of getting what you want, isn't it? People misinterpret relationship to be a source of getting what I want. If I'm not getting what I want from my marriage, well, then I've made a mistake. I need to replace this person just like I would replace my car. If I'm not getting what I want from my parents, then I have to make them wrong and struggle with them to get them to, do it differently, or excommunicate them from my religion, get rid of them, just put them out of my life. Or I can go to a therapist and learn how to cope with them and tolerate them, and have a relationship that way. But the essence of relationship is unconditional love. That's what will have a relationship work. is to understand that, we all are subject to catching the virus of romance. We're all subject to catching the virus of romance. We're all subject to lust, right? When you first look at somebody and see them as an object of your attention, when you look at somebody and see them somebody you're attracted to that you might want to pursue, right? What causes that? What causes that is the way the brain is organized and the way the system is organized to end you up having sex so you can procreate. You don't necessarily think about it that way. You just think the other person's hot, right? But then after you act that out and you go through that lustful, contact and all that passion and excitement and all that good sex, right? That's inevitably going to die down. That's inevitably going to come to an end. And when that happens, what's next? What do you do then? And it's inevitable, by the way, it's inevitable. No relationship that goes through that experience of lust and passion and romance stays that way. It can't stay that way. Once you've had sex, you've fulfilled your function for procreation. Now what? Right? Now what is that now you can either discover what real love is, not sex and lust and romance, but real love is about giving, not getting. Unconditional love is a function of expressing your desire to make a contribution to other human beings, to caring about the welfare of another human being is real love. And it applies to yourself as well. Real love for yourself, unconditional love for yourself, is to care for yourself in such a way where you have compassion for the fact that you're as ignorant as you are. That you have compassion for the fact that, unless you wake up and come out of the dream state you're in, unless you wake up and come out of the mental and emotional state that you're in, your life will continue to be a mess until you die. That's the way it is. That's just the way it is. I didn't make it that way. And if you look around, the evidence speaks very clearly for that. Most people are struggling and coping and trying harder and harder and harder, to get what they want so they can be happy, and at the same time protect themselves from all the threats that are coming at them all the time. It's a hell of a life to experience, to be afraid all the time, to be frustrated and angry all the time, and to be intolerant and impatient. So people don't have to do much to get you to be pissed off. Remember, this class is not about teaching you to meditate. Right? That's not what this is. It's called a meditation class, but it's not about teaching you to meditate. It's trying to make you, it's trying to provide you with the opportunity to recognize the value and importance of a practice of meditation so that you actually establish it. That's what it's about. If I've succeeded at all in teaching this class, the success will be a function of the fact that you're meditating every day. That's the goal of the class. That's the final exam. It's not for you, it's for me. So what I'm looking at all the time is, who do I need to be? What do I need to say for you to get the truth? And the truth is, meditation is a way out of suffering. Meditation is a way to experience the possibility of being happy and satisfied and peaceful. I'm not kidding about that. That's actually the case. And that's why the talks are so important, because the talks are designed to have you realize that if you don't establish a meditation practice, you're a fool. That's the truth. If you don't establish a meditation practice, you're being foolish. Because it's an easy and available opportunity to be free and to have what you want more than anything else. And the only thing that's going to stop you from establishing a practice is your involvement with the thinking activity and your involvement with how you feel. It's very important to understand, if you've been living your life as a function of what you think and how you feel, your life cannot succeed. A personal life must fail because it's unstable. It can't continue. That's why people in sports get coaches and get trainers, because they know they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it themselves. They have to have somebody make them do it. Right? That's an understanding of the instability of the mental state and the emotional state. So in this case, I can't come home with I can't take turns coming home with each of you, to get you established in a meditation practice. It's something that you're going to have to do because you understand the cost of not doing it. You're going to have to, as one of the teachers, the Goenka, who was a famous Vipassana teacher, said, you're going to have to work out your own liberation. Nobody can do that. Nobody can get into your life and do anything. Your life is yours and only yours, and you're the one that's going to determine whether you're happy or not, whether you do what works or not.